Hello, everyone, and welcome to Super Bowl Sunday, where we will see Super Bowl 55. And at Super Bowl 55, we will see the Patrick Mahomes-led Kansas City Chiefs versus the Tom Brady-led Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's get into it. Now, first, we will start off with the defending Super Bowl champions and current AFC champions, the 16-2 Kansas City Chiefs, who are led by the best player in football, Patrick Mahomes. This season, Chiefs have been dominant as usual, with Mahomes averaging about 304 passing yards per game. Chiefs are also getting about 112 on the ground per game, leading in the regular season to a total of about 316 total yards per game and almost 30 points per game. Defense isn't exactly the strong suit, but it's still a solid defense, only allowing about 236 passing yards per game and 122 rushing yards for a total of 358. And allowing about 23 points per game. Not a great defense, but it's good enough when you have one of the greatest offenses in the NFL. Decent turnover differential and decent sack differential, which is just how many sacks they get compared to their opponents. And now we will look at the opposing team, the NFC champions, the 14-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by the greatest player of all time, Tom Brady. Brady had a great season, throwing for about 290 yards per game, and the Bucs also had, with Ronald Jones Jr. and Leonard Fournette, about 95 rushing yards, for a total of about 384 total yards per game. All three of those stats less than the Buccaneers, but they were actually able to total for more points per game, with almost 31 points per game. Defense allowed about 246 passing yards per game, but their real strong suit was their rushing defense. In the regular season, they had the best rushing defense in the NFL, only allowing about 81 yards per game. And total yards per game, about 327 total yards allowed per game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and allowing about 22 points per game. Good turnover differential, which is actually better than the Chiefs, and a fantastic sack differential. They did not allow a lot of sacks on Brady, and they also got a lot of sacks. So, yeah. That is the stats for the two Super Bowl teams. Okay, now let's look at what those stats mean. Both teams have great offenses, but the Chiefs is a little better. And both teams have serviceable defenses, but the Bucs is a little better, especially with, like I said, the best run defense in the NFL and a slightly worse passing defense than the Chiefs. Both have decent turnover differentials. That really doesn't seem like it will be a factor. But the Bucs can get a lot of sacks, and they just get a lot of sacks, and that could play a really big part in this game. With that really good rushing defense, what the Bucs are going to have to try and do is make the Chiefs one-dimensional, make Mahomes have to throw, shut down the run game early. That's going to be a big part of this game. If they can shut down the run game early and basically just tell the Chiefs, you are not going to run on us, that's going to make the Chiefs very one-dimensional. Now, the Chiefs can run one-dimensional. They do that a lot when they have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill. You can do that. But are they going to be able to do that for very long? Now, they could do that in their first matchup, where the Chiefs got off to a big lead, and Tyreek Hill had 200 receiving yards in the first quarter. But the Bucs eventually caught on to it, and they started around a comeback, and they lost by 3. So if that game is any indication how this game should go, if the Bucs prepare well and they do not get off to a bad start, they have a really good chance at winning this game. Now, what the Chiefs really have to do is they have to try and force turnovers out of Tom Brady. He has not looked great this postseason. He threw 3 interceptions in the NFC Championship. If it wasn't for, I don't want to say this, Aaron Rodgers possibly choking and not getting many points out of those turnovers, the Packers would have won that game. Luckily, they didn't. The defense really held up in that game off the turnovers by Brady. I don't think Brady's going to throw 3 interceptions again. It's Tom Brady. It's Super Bowl. He's clutch. He's not going to do that. So I'm not going to count on that. But if the Chiefs want to have a really good shot at winning and maybe blow them out, they need Tom Brady to turn the ball over if they really want to have a shot. Tom Brady cannot throw a lot of turnovers because Aaron Rodgers, he didn't really do anything off that. Patrick Mahomes is going to do something. He's going to get more than 3 points off of 3 turnovers. Now, one thing interesting about this actually is an interesting stat I found, which is from the 2011 Super Bowl between the New York Giants and the New England Patriots, all the way to last year's Super Bowl between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. The team with the least total yards per game on offense in the regular season actually won the Super Bowl. And they're probably thinking, like, no, the Chiefs probably had more total yards per game that season. No, they actually didn't. San Francisco actually averaged more yards per game on offense last year. The last time the team with the most total yards per game in the regular season won the Super Bowl was all the way back when the Packers beat Pittsburgh in 2010. Now, obviously from the stats I showed earlier, the Bucs average less total yards per game. Where that streak keeps going, I don't know, but I think it's just interesting. And another thing that comes into play that not many people talk about is special teams. And when you look at special teams, the Bucs had the worst kick return defense this year. They allowed an average of about 33.6 yards per return on kicks this year. And you obviously got some really fast guys on the Chiefs. Tyreek Hill, Pringle, Hardman, and the Chiefs averaged the fourth most kickoff yards per return this year. So look for one of their main returners in Byron Pringle or McCole Hardman to possibly break off a big return in this game. Now, an also big thing is for the Chiefs to have a good shot at winning, I think they need to get off to a hot start. Brady's teams don't normally get off to hot starts in the Super Bowls. I think I looked at a stat in his 9 Super Bowl appearances, Brady's team has gotten a total of 3 points in the first quarter. So if that streak continues, the Chiefs really want to take advantage of that. They're going to really want to take advantage and score a bunch of points in that first quarter. Score as much early as they can before the Bucs get going, just like what happened in their first matchup in the regular season. Now, I think if the Bucs can stay in that game in the first quarter, they don't let it become a 10-point game or a 2-score game, I think they have a really good shot at winning this game. Okay, so now I'll go into my basic prediction for the game. The Bucs are going to control time of possession. They're going to have a better run game. The Chiefs are not going to be able to run a lot, especially with the Tampa Bay run defense. And Kansas City doesn't feel very quick. So Brady's going to be really controlling the time of this game. Brady's the most important player in this game. He's going to be controlling the tempo of this game, of how it goes, how much time of possession, if the Bucs go try and match up with the speed and how fast the drives go with the Kansas City Chiefs, or if they try to take advantage and slow it down and get really slow, methodical drives. Now, like I said earlier, that stat that said the Bucs, or the team that has the least amount of total yards per game in the regular season, won for like 9 or 10 straight Super Bowls. I'm going to say that streak continues. I actually think the Buccaneers win by a score of something like 35-31. I think what we saw in that first game was the Chiefs just took advantage of a very unprepared Buccaneers team. And the Bucs are not unprepared right now. They have looked very good the past few games. The only reason that game was even close with Green Bay was because Brady threw a lot of picks. And I don't think that's going to happen. Brady's not going to throw a bunch of picks in the Super Bowl. It's just not going to happen. It's Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. He's not going to throw multiple interceptions. I just don't think so. And I really just think the Bucs have looked like a better team. They have been really hot lately, and they have proven that regular season games have not mattered. They lost both times. They got blown out the one time by the Saints, and they come in and beat them fairly easily in the divisional round. And so, who I think is going to be Super Bowl MVP? I think it's going to be Tom Brady. I mean, who else are you going to give it to? It's going to be a high-scoring game. They're not going to give it to someone on defense. And Brady and the Bucs are going to pass off. They don't have a great running game. They're just going to pass a lot. Now, one interesting candidate I think for actually this is Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller is a very fast wide receiver. You obviously saw that last week in that end of the first half play against the Packers. And with Antonio Brown being questionable and also Cameron Brate looking like he might be out, Antonio Brown's going to likely play, but he might be a little hobbled. I think he could see an increased role, And maybe if they try to cover someone like Mike Evans a little too much, Scotty Miller could really open up for a few big plays. So he might be a sleeper pick for Super Bowl MVP. Now, I would say if the Chiefs win, a big sleeper candidate for them could be Travis Kelce, because they're gonna be swarming Tyreek Hill in this game. The Bucs, after that 200 yards in the first quarter, they're gonna be trying to make sure that ball never gets into Tyreek Hill's hands. I think he's gonna have a very quiet game, honestly. The Bucs are gonna be, I think, so focused on Tyreek Hill that it could leave a lot of the middle of the field open for the best tight end in football right now, Travis Kelce. But I don't think he's gonna win it, because I think the Bucs are gonna win. I think the Bucs have the better defense. I think they look more hot right now. I just think I just feel the Bucs are gonna win. I think they have the better rush defense, which is really going to control that Kansas City has to throw the ball. And eventually, whether you like it or not, they're going to make mistakes eventually. Mahomes is close to perfect as a quarterback he's going to get, but he's not the smart quarterback. He's going to make a couple mistakes, and I think the Bucs defense will be able to take advantage of that. They're going to be able to drop a lot into coverage because they have a very good D-line that gets a lot of sacks. So I think that could play a big advantage against the Chiefs. Like I said, in the first game, I believe it was 27-24. They held the Chiefs to below their average, and that Bucs team was not playing good at that time. So I think the Bucs pull off a victory, and Tom Brady gets Super Bowl number 7. And I hope you enjoyed my Super Bowl preview, and hopefully I am right and don't look like a complete idiot and like the Chiefs blow out the Buccaneers. Okay, everyone, have a good Super Bowl Sunday. And I hope you enjoy whatever you're doing for the Super Bowl. Adios.